السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما ربي زدني علما. Welcome back to Qalam's Duas from the Quran sessions that we do every day here in Ramadan. This program is brought to you by Penny Appeal, USA. Since 2016, Penny Appeal has been committed to fighting poverty and need. They have provided aid in the midst of emergencies, supported orphans, provided warm meals, helped give medical assistance, and provided clean waters to families across Asia, the Middle East, Africa, and here at home. Since then, Penny Appeal USA has helped over 1 million people and empowered communities all around the world, helping to break the cycle of poverty and build brighter futures. This Ramadan, they will continue this effort with the support of people like you. To join their hashtag, You Are the Difference, Ramadan Campaign, and change your life, please visit pausa.org/qalam. That is pausa.org/QALAM. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into our dua for today. Our dua from today comes from Surah Ali Imran, which is the 3rd chapter of the Quran, and it's verses 8 and 9. And this dua is so beautiful because it reminds us of what we really want. It reminds us of our connection to Allah, and it reminds us of how important that connection to Allah is, and the importance of taking care of our heart. This dua is made because of our desires for our hearts to be guided to Allah. And after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us that guidance, for it to be firm in that guidance and consistent in that guidance. And that we do the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires of us and stay away from the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited from us. When we talk about this, it's so important for us to realize that once we're guided, it doesn't mean that life won't happen. It doesn't mean that you won't be tested. It doesn't mean that you won't be tempted or you won't be tested or trials won't come. Quite literally, Shaitan, he says, La aqudanna lahum sirataka al-mustaqim. When he asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give him time to be in this world, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has banished him, after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has, told him that he's forbidden when he is forsaken, that Shaitan asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for time in this world, and that time was literally just to misguide people. And so he says that I will surely sit and wait for your servants on the straight path. And so we are all here and we're striving to be on that straight path. And so that means that we recognize that Shaitan, he will try to come and do his whispers to misguide us, to take us off of the straight path. And the nature of the heart is that the heart is something that it is very much so when it's connected to Allah and when it's constantly being fed that remembrance or that reminder of Allah, then it is firm and is content and is comfortable. Is firm, is content in that love and that, remembrance of Allah. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, those who believe, وَتْمَئِنُّ قُلُوبُهُمْ بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, and their hearts are at rest by the remembrance of Allah. أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبُ. Then without a doubt, by the remembrance of Allah are the hearts at rest. We understand that the heart, though, is something that changes. Literally in the word qalb, it means to turn, or it means to change, or it means to flip, And we understand this, that there is one day you may be really passionate about something. You may really love something. You may really like something. And the next day you don't even care about that thing, right? You may have really wanted a car, for example, a particular type of car, and you saved up so much money and all these things, and you really wanted it, and and when you got it, you loved it for 2 or 3 days. And then after that, what happened? You wanted something else. You wanted to have something else. And so our hearts is that the nature of our hearts is that it changes and it flips. And it can flip very quickly. It can change very quickly. And this reminds me of the statement of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala anhu that Imam Bukhari brings in his book Al-Adab al-Mufrad, where Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he says, أَحْبِبْ حَبِيبَكَ حَوْنًا مَا عَسَى أَنْ يَكُونَ بَغِيضَكَ يَوْمًا مَا. He says that when you love someone, Love someone in the manner that is, love someone consciously, love someone in a manner that is easy, love someone where you're not going overboard in your praise and how you treat this person. And because perhaps one day you may hate this person. And then he says, وَأَبْغِضًا بَغِيضَكَ هَوْنًا مَا. And be careful in the way that you hate somebody. أَسَىٰ أَنْ يَكُونَ حَبِيبَكَ يَوْمًا مَا. Because one day you may love this person. You may love the person that you hate. So Ali ibn Abi Talib, he tells us, be careful who you love and how you express that, because one day you may hate them, and be careful how you hate and how you express that, because one day you may love them. And that's the expression of understanding our heart and the nature of our hearts, is that it flips and is so easy to twist and turn. And so here what we understand from this is that the Prophet ﷺ, he tells us that the most important, knowing how quickly our heart can switch and change, the Prophet still tells us the importance of our heart. And the Prophet he says, "Ala wa inna fil jasadil mudghah." Know that within the body there is a morsel of flesh. إِذَا صَلَحَتْ صَلَحَ جَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. That if it's sound, if it's good, then the entire body is good. وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ. But if it's corrupt, فَسَدَ جَسَدُ كُلُّهُ. Then know that the entire body is corrupt. And then he says, أَلَا وَهِيَ الْقَلْبُ. Know that this is the heart. And what the Prophet is telling us is that it's so important for us to take care of our heart. And part of taking care of our heart is that our heart will turn towards the things that it loves the most if we keep feeding it that thing. So that's why you would see that Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, she would pray in the night and she would spend hours in sujood, and she will be reciting a dua that the Prophet taught her. And that dua was, Ya muqallib al-qulub. Oh, the one who's the turner of the hearts, who has control over the hearts. Thabbit qalbi ala dinak. Establish and make my heart firm on your religion. And this is the dua that she would recite in the night in her sujood while she was crying. And she would be doing this because when it comes to our faith, we want to keep doing things to make our faith strong. We want to keep doing things to make our connection with Allah strong. We don't want to go away from our connection with Allah. We don't want to go away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You ever see that sometimes when you're really stuck, when your prayers, you really get them down, you really got down your 5 prayers that day, you really got down your fast, you really, you're really making dua, you're like on it, and you feel so content. And your heart feels so connected. But then there are some days where you don't feel it. You feel a little bit distant. This is where that dua comes in. That we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not to give us that distance. We're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to turn our hearts to Him and to continue to turn our hearts to Him, so that we're not in a position that we believe and then we turn away. And so we say, Rabbana, O our Lord, la tuzik. Do not let our hearts, la tuzik qulubana. Do not let our hearts divert or deviate away from you. Ba'da id hadaytana. After you have guided us. Wahab lana. And grant us min ladunka, especially from you, rahma, mercy. Innaka antal wahhab. Indeed, you are the ever giving. And what we're saying here is that we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide us. We're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep our hearts firm. We're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep our hearts guided after He's already blessed us with guidance. The fact that we are guided, the fact that we are believers, that we are Muslims, that we are trying and we are making effort towards our relationship between us and Allah is a mercy in and of itself. It is a gift from Allah in and of itself. And the thing about gifts is that when you give gifts to people, they are things that bring the hearts together. And this is this connection that we have with Allah. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Wahhab by giving us this honor of being Muslims, by giving us this honor of being guided, by giving us this honor of people who are trying their best to be, close to Him. And so when we are making this dua, we're saying, Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana. Oh Allah, do not let our hearts deviate from you after you've guided us. Don't let help us to get rid of all of these distractions, things that may come in between our faith, things that may come in between our relationship with Allah, things that we may put in front of Allah. Oh Allah, please remove that from us. We're literally begging Allah to keep us guided. We're literally begging Allah to allow us to continue to be on His straight path. That we're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us steadfast, that regardless of where the path takes us and how the difficulties that we come across, that we are still connected to Allah, that we're still on this guided path, that we're still doing the things that God has asked us to do, and staying away from the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to stay away from. And then this next part of the narration of this ayah is so beautiful. This next part of the dua that we're making is so beautiful. وَهَبَ لَنَا, and gift to us is a gift. A gift is naturally something that someone does not have to give you. وَهَبَ لَنَا مِن لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً, and give to us, especially from you, O Allah, your mercy. Because it is a mercy from Allah to continue to guide us. It is a mercy from Allah that despite the times that we don't even make effort in our relationship with Him, He still allows for our hearts to be connected to Him. It is a mercy from Allah that He gives us the month of Ramadan year and year and year again, and allows us to see it so that we're able to really reestablish our relationship between Him and us. This is all a mercy from Allah. Allah does not have to do this, but He does this out of kindness and compassion. Innaka antal wahhab. Indeed, you are the ever-giving. You're the one who is constantly giving to us. You're the one who is constantly blessing us. The next part of this particular dua then ends off with Rabbana Innaka, O our Lord, indeed you, Jami'un Nasa liyawmin la rayba fi. You will gather all of the people on the day where there is no doubt. There's no doubt that we will be held accountable. There is no doubt that we'll be taken into account for our actions. There is no doubt that we will all be gathered on that day facing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inna Allah la yukhliful mi'ad. Then know that God never breaks His promises. And what's interesting here is that this second part of the dua, it is showing us why we need our hearts to constantly be guided. It is showing us why we are making this dua to Allah. Rabbana la tuzigh qulubana ba'da idh hadaytana وَهَبْ لَنَا مِن لَدُنْكَ رَحْمَةً إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ الْوَهَّابُ. Why we're making this powerful dua, that listen, Ya Allah, we are not naive to think that we're safe because we believe. We know that it's a struggle. We know that there's going to be ups and downs. We know that there are going to be things that are going to try to take us away from our religion. But Ya Allah, please guide us. Ya Allah, please keep us guided and keep our hearts turned towards you. Because on the day that we have to stand before Allah, we want to be able to say that, Ya Allah, our hearts were turned towards you. Ya Allah, that you guided us and we continue to be guided until this day. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows us to benefit from everything that we heard here today. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us all the best in this life and the next. And that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows for all of our hearts to be rightly guided. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows for us to have a wonderful Ramadan, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows for us to capitalize on all of the great blessings that we're able to achieve this Ramadan. And like always, please don't forget to still support Qalam and go to supportqalam.com and make sure you make a donation so that we're able to continue on this work that we do here today. Subhanaka Allahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.